Chapter 2. The Corridor of Death. Night 4, Robertsdale, Alabama to Oklahoma City. 844 miles. I've been traversing the dark tarmac at witching hour on American highways for 3 consecutive nights. Drafting big rigs and locking up my motorcycle at high speed in the rain, I lost my lights and lost my mind shooting at phantom wolves in the desolate desert. I followed the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration's rules and regs. 11-hour driving limit during a 14 consecutive hour duty period. 60 hours in 7 days. You're not allowed to drive after you've been on duty 60 hours during any 7 consecutive days. 34-hour restart. After 60 hours in 7 days, you must take at least 34 hours off duty in a row. I didn't make Florida as planned, and am 33 hours into my allotted 60, and I'm in Robertsdale, Alabama. Do I continue on to Jacksonville on Interstate 10 the next night, or turn around and start home? I can't make good time because of the weather. Do I head back or just abandon this whole story? I decide to return to Long Beach, California, but still abide by the FMCSA rules and regulations. So now I only have 27 hours of riding time left. That's 2 11-hour nights and 1 5-hour night. I decide not to backtrack on Interstate 10, but to ride Interstate 40, the corridor of death. In 2005, Detective Ida Lopez started following a trail of 16 missing girls from Albuquerque, New Mexico. A human femur bone discovered by a dog in 2009 revealed 11 sets of women's skeletons in an area that's now called the West Mesa Bone Field. All were from Albuquerque except one. She was from Oklahoma. Now the feds got involved. Their database also has information on scores of truckers who've been charged with killings or rapes committed near highways, or who are suspects in such crimes. Authorities said they do not have statistics on whether driving trucks ranks high on the list of occupations of known serial killers. The pattern in roadside body dumps and other evidence has prompted investigators to speculate that the job makes a good cover for someone inclined to kill. I'm 8 hours into that long, endless road that is Texas and making amazing time. The sight and smell of Texas oil refineries become welcome apparitions. Strange Mad Max structures look like apocalyptic citadels. Thick plumes of vapor billow as towering smokestacks spew odorous pockets of pungent gases. I've developed night eyes and see the shapeshifters darting from the darkness. Time shifters alter my space-time continuum. Now my gas-ups at truck stops are filled with shadowy figures, harried hookers and grizzled, yellow-toothed, chain-smoking truckers who yammer on amphetamine-fueled. Napping in restaurant food booths, long haulers are knocked unconscious by massive lard-laden meals. Comfort food, served on uncomfortable cold steel tables, absurdly upright, thinly padded seats under harsh fluorescent lighting. I can clearly distinguish between the odd travelers, lot lizards, and strung-out tanker yankers. At each stop, an army of 20-ton warrior ants converge single file in the darkness on mammoth truck stop skeletons to feed and breed on its decaying carcass. Hundreds of dimly lit Macs and Freightliners throbbing to a diesel drone in the noxious night. Finally, my last stop. I'm dizzy from exhaustion and have become a verifiable vampire. The acrid morning light is poisonous, and I head to the safety of a dark bar for a beer. Drowning in a sea of cigarette smoke, I see her. A raven-haired goddess with piercing blue eyes and ivory-white skin is staring right at me. I froze, completely hypnotized as this bewitching vixen lured me in. As if in a trance, I slowly walked right up to her and asked, "Do I know you?" "No, but you want to," she replied. "Wow, you're beautiful." "But you already know that," I stammered. "Listen, I'm not a trucker. I'm really here for something completely different." "I can see that," she purred. "I'm a journalist, writing a story about long-haul trucking, about the night shift and living at night." "So, you're writing my story?" She flashes a gorgeous smile. At a complete loss for words, I backpedal. Listen, I'm sorry. It's been a long night, and I don't want to take up your time. You're working, I reply embarrassingly. No, honey, I'm done. It's you who should be working, she smirks. If you're really writing that story, you should be talking to me. Come, and she grabs my arm. 2 Oklahoma Highway Patrol officers survey the scene, and one tips his hat as we pass. "Mornin', Lizette," he states, and she tosses him a big smile. We enter a private lounge, remarkably clean, totally opposite from the truck stop bar. Reminds me of an executive airport lounge, appointed with plush couches, leather high-back chairs. The air is crisp, no odor of cigarettes. She directs me to sit. A fresh-faced kid that looks 15 scrambles up and asks if she wants anything. "The usual," she replies. He looks at me. "I'll take the same. I'm on her dime now." Sinking into a light tan couch, her little black dress outlines a shapely silhouette. She drapes her long, sleek arms over the top of the couch, exposing a plunging neckline and exquisite pair of breasts. Slowly crossing her long legs, she coos. "So, tell me your story." I breathe deep. I'm still staring, completely captivated. Usually I'll break my gaze quickly if someone catches my stare, like I was just roaming the room and our eyes accidentally crossed paths. At most, I'll hold my composure for a few seconds, smile, nod, then move on. This was as if we were communicating telepathically. "Here you are, Liz," the kid shatters my trance. I grab my glass and sniff. It's scotch on the rocks. Really good scotch. I take a sip and spill my guts. 2 scotches later, I'm done. And the story ends, right here, with you, I say in finality. My name is Lizette Duran. I'm 29 years old. My mother and I moved here from New Orleans in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina. She was a voodoo priestess, as was her mother and her mother before her. Our lives were completely washed away with Katrina, and she had friends here. I'm not even listening. All I can do is visually scour every inch of her exquisite body. What could a woman this stunning be doing in a fucked up place like this? Jesus, I sound like Bogart in Casablanca. I travel the world, and I've refined staying with beautiful women to an art form. Prostitute or not, I instinctively initiate my 4-step program. Step 1. Act like you're totally engaged in her conversation, looking deeply into her eyes, hanging on every word. Her voice is slow and sultry. She reminds me of actress Jennifer Connelly, but hotter. Step 2. Do not talk about you. At every opportunity, pursue any emotional hot topic, her cat, her kids, constantly delving deeper into her emotional well. As soon as she begins talking about past relationships, be prepared to toss in the phrase, "Yeah, men are jerks." And psychologically, you become an ally. What really gets me is her skin. The entire length of her leg, from the hemmed edge of that short dress to her high heels, exposes an alabaster bliss that could animate the dead. Her silky, thick, jet-black hair lays alluringly, like a panther in wait. Her luminescent blue eyes are absolutely hypnotic. I maneuver over to the couch next to her, preparing for step 3. Step 3. Touch her very casually in a non-threatening manner on her arm or leg. Women love to be touched. Do this during laughter and emotional peaks, and always in the same place. This sets up a physical hotspot, connecting you to her sense of happiness when that spot is touched. Yes, I take money for sex. She has my attention. "How much do you think I make per trick?" Lizette asks. $100, I say. 3 times that. I make $300,000 a year, tax-free. Step 4. This is critical, and knowing that moment of vulnerability takes practice. While touching her on her hotspot, looking deeply into her eyes, just ask, "Can I stay at your place tonight?" We talk for hours, and I collect some incredible content for my story. I've now been awake for 35 hours straight, hypnotized by the most alluring woman I've ever met. My timeline is shot. I'm completely off track, off schedule. "No, you're not," Lizette laughs. "You said this is the 5th day, and you've traveled 44 hours. You have a whole day off. You're allowed to drive 60 hours in 7 days. and this is only day 5. You can take it off, and you'll have 11 hours on day 6 and then 5 hours on day 7. She is, of course, right. At this point, I'm a zombie, and I don't know who or where I am. I'm sensing the opportune step 4 moment. She knows I'm vulnerable, and she's sympathetic. "Come stay at my place," she coos. "Your motorcycle is safe here, trust me. And by the way, I know who's murdering the girls in the corridor of death."